Hey everyone, welcome to today's Trash to Treasure Makeover. This is a Facebook Marketplace find. It's a modern farmhouse makeover and I'm so excited to share it with you. If you're new here, I'm Becca and I do cleaning, makeovers, home decor, decorating on this channel. So I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and join the family, and let's hop right into it. We're going to start off with taking all of the hardware off of the buffet so that it will be easily painted. We don't have to tape anything, and I wanted to clean the hardware anyways, so might as well just pop it off before painting. I found this piece, like I said, on Facebook Marketplace. I had been keeping my eye out for a piece just like this for months, and I felt like a lot of them were overpriced, so I just kept watching and I finally came across this one. I paid about $200 for it, but most people for pieces like this wanted over $300. So I'm so happy that I found this one because it's in great condition too to be painted. Now I'm going to go ahead and take some of the sandpaper. It is 120 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to go ahead and sand all of the surface that I will be painting. This is an important step that you want to do because it's going to take the glossing off of the top and it's going to make the surface something for the paint to grab onto. It's just going to roughen it up enough for the paint to really just grab on and keep hold. A lot of times if you don't do this, your paint will chip and come off a lot faster and a lot easier. I'm not painting the inside of the buffet. I really want to keep it the natural color that it is right now. And I'm also not painting the back side because it will obviously be up against the wall and there's just no point with wasting my time with it. Another important step is to make sure once you're done sanding that you really clean your piece of furniture really good, because if you have any dirt or debris or anything on your furniture, once again, it's going to keep the paint from really sticking to it and make the paint flake off over time. So you really want to make sure your furniture is really clean. I went ahead and took a bucket of warm water and some Dawn dish soap, and I just went ahead and took a microfiber cloth and really cleaned this piece up. For paint, I'm using a flat Valspar signature paint. It's a paint and primer. The color is Tricorn Black. It is a true black, and this is what I'm using to paint it with, and then I'm going to go into the trim with this one right here. I went with a flat paint because it is going to give a chalk finish. If you don't want to waste your time on chalk paint, I feel like chalk paint is a little bit more expensive, and you still have to prime, especially when you're doing a light color. So you don't have to sand, but you have to prime. Whereas with this, I'm not priming. I'm doing a paint and primer since it's a dark color. And I had to sand it anyways, and it's cheaper to do it on this route than to buy chalk paint. And this gives the same finish as chalk paint. If you ever want like a chalk paint finish, always go with a paint that is a flat.
Forever.
I recently did a dining room makeover video and I will have that linked right down below. And I really wanted to do a white shiplap wall for that, so I decided to do a black piece of furniture because I already have so many grays, and gray is my other go-to color. I felt like black would just be that pop of color in the dining room and it would just transform the space. We do have shelves that we hung, and the brackets for the shelves are black. I have a few decor items that are black, so it's really going to tie in together, but it's just going to be that pop that really brings this room alive.
If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can't always stay here forever. 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 I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever?
Now we are moving on to doing the trim, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, there is a lot of like molding on this furniture, and it made it really hard to get the trim done for painting and poly. I won't lie. It's so much easier when you're working with flat surfaces that don't have like the top of this, the other drawers, and the sides were really easy to work with, but then this detailed drawer and these doors, but all of those little things bring character to this piece. So I'm not complaining, but it definitely took a while to do the trim work on this furniture.
Forever, I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking?
Not to bore you guys, but I actually did 2 coats of paint on this piece of furniture. I'm not going to show you guys doing the second coat just because I feel like, you know, you've already seen enough painting. You would get very, very bored. But I did do 2 coats. 1 coat actually wasn't bad. There was just a few more spots and I really wanted it to be laid on thick. So I just went ahead and did a second coat, even though I possibly could have gotten away with just the 1. Here's the piece dry over 24 hours later. You really want to make sure you give it 24 hours at least to dry, if not 48 hours. I'm going to go ahead and go in with this sanding block. It is 220 grit, and I'm going to de-stress a bunch of the corners a bit. I was a little nervous to do this, but this was the inspiration that I saw on Pinterest and all over the internet, and I didn't want to leave it just flat black. I really wanted it to have a distressed look, so I went ahead and started in a back corner that you wouldn't really be able to see to make sure that it was going to look the way I wanted it to. Always test it out first if you're unsure. And I tested it out, and sure enough, I was absolutely in love with how it looked when it was done.
I can take you anywhere, somewhere. We won't be scared. You will see me flying high. I'm staring into your blue eyes. We don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too. I've been saving you, and you save me too. Yeah, I need it. Don't you need me too? 'Cause I need you.
Now before we put our top coat on, you want to make sure once again that you go in and clean this piece really, really well. I'm not trying to clean it, I'm more so trying to dust it, I should say. So I used a damp microfiber cloth because I find that microfiber cloths really grab on to everything. So I went ahead and just got that damp, and I'm just wiping everything down really thoroughly to make sure that it's not going to be on there whenever I put my top coat on. I'm also going to take the drawers out, which I didn't do when I painted. I maybe should have done that, but I really didn't want to have pieces all over the place with little kids running around. For my top coat, I'm going to be using this Miniwax Polyacrylic Clear Matte Finish with applying it with these foam brushes. I use, once again, the matte finish because I want that chalky finish. I want it to look like chalk paint. I want it to be, I really just love that type of finish. Just about every piece of furniture in my house that I have painted, I use this finish. I also want to put a disclaimer because I hate having to do poly. I'm not going to lie to you guys, especially on surfaces with nooks and crannies like this one. When it's flat, once again, it's not bad to do, but poly drips. It's very liquidy, and I know it looks like it's not clear here, but it dries clear. But I am horrible at just applying it. I swear, I'm just not very good at it. I am learning with each piece of furniture that I do. I learn more and more. But you just really have to make sure that, you know, you don't get drips anywhere, because it's a quick dry, and if you don't put it on smoothly, it will not dry smoothly. It takes time and experience to understand what I'm talking about, and if you've ever dealt with poly before, you know exactly what I'm saying. But just always make sure that you don't put it on thick, and you always do a thin layer and you put it on smoothly. And I find the best way to do that without stroke marks is with a foam applicator.
You make me anxious. I think I might be stuck on you.
I want to add that a couple years ago, I could have never imagined that I would be capable of doing stuff like this, whether it be the shiplap that me and my husband did on the back of this wall, whether it be painting furniture. We've built furniture, and I never thought in a million years that I was capable enough of doing this. I don't know why. I guess I just felt like it wasn't a trade I knew, so how would I know how to do it? But with each piece, I get better and better, and even the very first piece that I did, the minor things that went wrong with it, you would never be able to tell. Only I can tell because it's my piece. Just coming into my house and being here, you would never be able to see those flaws, but I know them, and I know that they're there, and I learn with every mistake like that. And honestly, you make mistakes and you can redo it. It's really not permanent. You can always strip the furniture, you could always paint over it, you can sand it down. Anything can really be fixed. So I just wanted to say, if I can do this, you 110% can do it as well. Please experiment, have fun with it. It's so much fun finding these pieces that, are built differently. These vintage pieces are so beautiful. They're built so well, and they still have so much life left in them. And I would love for you to buy whatever has been inspiring you and really just try and give it a makeover.
You were meant to be with me, talking to the night until the morning, building chemistry. I don't think I ever wanna go come closer next to me. Trying to find another way to say this, but I think we were meant to be.
So you want to do 3 coats of poly, and in between each coat you want to also sand it down with 220 grit sanding paper just to give it a smooth finish, and then go ahead and reapply the poly. And all of this has instructions on the containers, so just go ahead and read those and just follow them by whatever they say and tell you to do. Now we are moving on to the hardware. I am taking some apple cider vinegar. I'm putting some hardware in this pan. If you do this, you want to make sure you use a pan that you are never going to cook food in, just to let you know. You can use distilled vinegar, apple cider vinegar, whatever kind of vinegar you have. So I brought it to a boil, which only took a few minutes. And then you take them out and you scrub them with steel wool. And I used the finest one, which is 4 zeros. But when I did this, I actually took off the top coating of the brass because it was a thin layer of brass on top of metal. And that's how a lot of these were made back then. Most of them are not fully real brass. And I knew that this was a possibility of happening before I did it, but I really wanted to clean these because they were just so gross. They had so much grime on them. And honestly, to me, it was more important to have them clean than to have that on there. And so I went ahead and did it anyways. One of the videos that I watched, the sir said to test to see if it's real brass. If it's real brass, it will not connect to a magnet. If it's metal with a brass thin layering, it'll connect to a magnet. And mine did connect to the magnet, so I knew that it wasn't real brass. And I knew that this was a high potential of happening. But honestly, once again, like I said, I don't care. I just wanted them clean. So I probably will go back one day and spray paint them, but for now they do the trick. And this vintage piece, one of the reasons why I was looking for a piece like this was for the handles themselves. I just love these handles. So if I have to go back and spray paint them one day, that's what I will do. But this is what they look like afterwards. Obviously these little bean things on them were real copper. I'm thinking about spray painting them in an antique copper finish that Rust-Oleum has. But for now, like I said, this is perfect. And we are moving on to the last day, and we're going to put all of the drawers back in now.
Living in the past, we're over that. I'm feeling it tonight. Riding on the dizzying highs. I'm standing on the dizzying highs.
Now that we have all the drawers in, I'm going to go ahead and just pop all of the hardware back onto this piece.
I'm standing on the dizzying highs. Standing on the dizzying highs. Everything's so much better. Riding high on your road. You and I, we're coming way together. Standing on dizzying highs. Everything's so much better. Riding high on your road. You and I, we're coming way together. Standing on the dizzying highs.
I discovered when cleaning the hardware that all of these little tiny knobs, actually all of these, there's only 2 of them, but these little tiny knobs were actually real brass, so they actually stayed their true color. So I'm a little torn about how I feel about it, because some of these are silver with a little bit of copper, and then those are actual brass, so are golden, you know. So I don't know. I'm loving it. I'm not loving it. I'm really unsure how I feel about it, to be honest. I don't hate it, but I want to know, you guys let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think of the hardware, and what do you think I should do with it, if you think I should do something else with it. Now I'm just going to quickly decorate this piece, and I figured I would share this with you guys so you guys can see exactly what the style is and what I was going for here.
Could have been you. What a crime and what a shame to let go. Sometimes I just don't know what to do. It should have been you. Driving to your place, but now the ground is shaking.
All right, here is the finished look. I am seriously obsessed with how this piece turned out. I love it so much. I'm so happy I went with the black and the distressing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you try doing anything like this, please tag me on Instagram. Thank you so much for choosing to watch this, and thank you so much for all of your love and support. It means the world to me. Please share this video with some of your friends that you know would enjoy it, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!
Sometimes I just don't know what to do.